Welcome back everyone. This is a bad LED wall module that came from a no-name imported P2 LED wall. As you can see, there's a missing chip in this corner right here, a large patch of 16 LED chips missing in this area right here, another missing chip on this edge right here. Moving across to the other corner, there's another missing chip right there. And as I look further down, this edge has two chips out with one of them missing. And another missing chip on this corner right here. Other than that, everything else seems to be okay. That means I will be replacing a total of 22 micro-sized LED chips on this module. Let's start off with the missing LED chip in this corner. Please bear in mind that this is a condensed time-lapse video and a lot of the boring, repetitive content has been edited out for your viewing pleasure. I began by first cleaning the solder pads of its original no lead high temperature solder. Then I added in a dab of flux to clean the solder pads and to assist in the soldering. The flux also helps hold the chip in position from blowing away when I apply the hot air gun. This corner was a quick, easy fix, and most of the time was spent repositioning the chip in the correct orientation and polarity. Now this chip over here seemed like an easy repair also, but after the LED was soldered in, I encountered a problem. As you can see in the time lapse, I'm using tweezers and a dental pick to reposition the LED to the correct orientation and polarity before applying the hot air. I have the module in its solid white color test mode so that all three colors are on, which helps me see if the LED was soldered in correctly. My soldering iron and hot air station was set to 400 degrees C with the lowest air output while cleaning the pads. I then lowered the temperature to 300 degrees C to solder in the new components with the leaded solder. The green component on the new LED chip is not lighting up. I tried to reheat it to see if it would seat correctly, but it didn't. As you can see, the green component still didn't work. No problem, it's probably a bad LED chip, so I reheated the board with the hot air and removed the chip. Now you can see where I cleaned the solder pads on the board with 6337 solder on a micro-tip soldering iron. I get a new chip from my stash and I lost it. I'm having a little problem dropping it a few times. I have to use both the tweezers and the dental pick to get it in the correct position. After applying the hot air station, all three colors light up. Note that the red part on the chip to the right of it went out. That was my fault because I forgot to lower the hot air station to 300 degrees C. No big deal. That chip just got a little too hot, and as it cooled down, the red came back on. This is another corner of the module that's missing an LED chip. Looks like the corners are easier to repair than the edges. I'm using a dab of flux which helps hold the chip in position. The hardest part is getting the chip into the correct orientation. You also have to get it into the correct polarity before soldering it. Just like the first corner, this was a quick repair. This took about 10 minutes in real time. I now move down to the edge with the 2 chips, one of which is missing. Hopefully, the chip that's still there just needs to be resoldered. I'm going to replace the missing one, and eventually the heat will resolder the chip next to it. So I start off with a bit of flux, clean off the solder pads, I then fiddle around with the tweezers to get it into position. Give it a bit of hot air, and it works. Now I move on to another corner that also has a missing chip. Just like the previous corners, this replacement was quick and smooth. I guess having the 2 sides free lets me easily position the LED chip better. This corner also took less than 10 minutes to complete. Now that all of the outer perimeter chips have been repaired, I move on to the area that's missing the chunk of 16 LEDs, which most likely be the hardest and longest part of the repair. The first approach I took to repair the missing patch of LEDs was to try soldering in 4 of them at once. I tried several times to do this. Once I got 4 of the LEDs into position, they quickly blew away when I brought in the hot air gun. I spent quite a bit of time trying this out and I couldn't get it to work. I eventually started soldering them in 1 chip at a time.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you like what you're seeing. If there are any questions, please post them in the comments below.
It sound right, boys.
For the curious minds, if you're wondering about the size of these LED chips, they're actually 1.6 millimeters square. As a comparison, here's 3 of those chips next to a quarter.
It sound right, boys.
It sound right, boys.
Here is a completely repaired LED wall module. It took me about 5 hours to repair this. I averaged about 10 minutes to repair each LED chip. Majority of that time was spent repairing the large patch of 16 missing chips. With the module in test mode, here are all of the red LEDs. Here are all the greens. Here are all the blue LEDs. And all three colors making the white. All that's left now is to clean the board with IPA.
It sound right, boy.